or whatever.
Well,
they are,
this
the
is
new
what we're going to
ones.
do. Let's go to yours. What's it called? It's csis.svsu.edu /. What's yours?
BJ Wilso 3.
BJ Wilso 3. Fabulous. And then it's what?
Under 355, then under it again, and then under the customer database.
Okay, fabulous. Hey, sorry about this, guys. I got this little bit of a cold, and I'm almost over with it. But you gotta keep it down a little bit so I can talk. I want to make sure everybody can hear me. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to show you how to diagram this system that already exists. So hopefully, if you can see how to diagram one that already exists, it'll be easier to diagram one that doesn't exist yet in your mind. Have you guys ever heard of hierarchy charts? They're exactly the same as org charts. You have the presidents and vice presidents and everything like that. You've probably seen them a lot of times in, like if you go to a, let's say the telephone menu, and we'll go to images. You might see these kind of charts here. You see that? I'll go view image. You see how you go from one screen and you click on something, it takes you to another screen and everything like that. This is more of a flow chart, but sometimes they're hierarchical in nature. Let's see if there's one. Here's one. This one's hierarchical in nature. You see that? So you have a function, you have an incoming call as a process or an action that takes place, and it's going to go to the sales department, tech support department, whatever. It's never going to go to two of them. It's always going to just go to one of them. It's always going to be in a strict hierarchy. Now, not all applications are like this, but in our application, it's pretty much a strict hierarchy. So I'm going to go to Bryce's. Now, in here, I've got create. You didn't create, update, and delete yet.
No, I didn't do that yet.
You did?
Yeah,
Let me just
use
I'll
his.
use his, but this is exactly right. So let's try. What's yours, Ryan?
It's RCTHO MA3, and then it's under cis355.
Oh, I see. All right, beauty.
Go to the start tutorial folder, and then it's under tutorial.php.
Okay, great. So this one's done. So now how are we going to diagram this hierarchy chart? So here's the program. We know what it looks like. We're at this menu, which is tutorial.php. You got a little glitch in your thing there. Don't worry, I mean, it looks beautiful. But anyway, so it has create, it has read, it has update, and it has delete. You got to throw the bootstrap in there too. I'm nitpicking. It's awesome that you're this far. So basically, we only have when we go to this tutorial.php, it can branch out to 4 different places. Right? There's only 4 ways. The only things that can happen. 4 different things. 4 different screens you go to. Depending on which ones you click, it'll be different information on that screen. So how do you suppose we would diagram this in Visio, or or Gliffy, or anything else that you might want to use? Well, we would first we'd have the parent, the top home page or whatever it is. Websites are typically like this because they're hierarchical. So this one would be tutorial.php. So this is a program hierarchy chart, and I'm going to change the font on this to be a little bigger. Well, I thought I was. There we go. Just so you guys can see it a little bit easier. And then we will take this one, and the other possible screen that we could go to is what? What's the file called? Actually, this is lowercase t. Let's go to, if we click on create, it goes to create.php. So now this one's going to be create.php. If we want to connect these, we can click on the connector and drag and drop and everything like that. Let's do the other ones. We have, and of course, if I take Visio and I can choose a website and I can actually draw this thing using Visio. So like if I go into Visio and I do File, New, and I'll do a website, I think it is. Where is a website? Conceptual website. Create. Huh. There is one of them where you can type in the name of the website and it will automatically go and crawl the website and give you the entire diagram. I use it when I go to clients. I'll show them, hey, here's a diagram of your website. Wow, I've never seen that before. It's not on this version, or at least I don't know how to make it on this version, but it's out there. So now all I got to do is make these other, whoops, Control Z. Control Z. Why can't I move this? Control Z. Pointer tool. Wow. Welcome to 2016. And we might want to make these a bit smaller so that they can fit. But I think you guys get the idea, right? This is writing. You will want to have a hierarchy chart. If you can't get them to fit on the page like this, which that'll happen a lot, you can do the connectors like this. You can do create, read, update, delete. You've probably seen this in org charts, right? Actually, sometimes it's retrieve, but retrieve or read. And normally you'd put this slightly off to the left, sorry, to the right, and take this connector tool and just go from the bottom to the side and do the same thing for all of them. God bless it. Let's try this. We'll start from the bottom. Yeah. I'm used to a different version. So there you go. So there's your hierarchy chart for this application. Now, there's another PHP file in this application. Do you remember what it was? Database.php. All four of them called database.php. So database.php is technically subordinate to all of them. So there's a lot of ways to do this, but I mean, if you want to show that particular property, you might make it so database.php is here. And then you could make it subordinate to all of them like that. The same way as I just did it with the other one. I'm going to go with the top like this, and then the same thing. And it's also in tutorial.php too, so now if you're going to ask me how to make these lines line up, man, how they are able to call this I'm not getting into it. Anyway, you've demonstrated the relationship of the programs to each other. Technically, these arrows should be pointing downward. So the arrows should be going the opposite way. That's the way they are. This is the only correct one here. But I think you get the idea. I don't want to spend a lot of time tweaking, beautifying the diagram. Now, what I really recommend you do is hand draw this. Like you're developing it, like you're talking to a buddy in a bar and you're just using a cocktail napkin to design it, like a real engineer. Real engineers use envelopes and napkins when they originally start out a design. And then take a picture with your cell phone camera and submit that in as your diagram. Because I want this to be rough. It's not supposed to be pristine for a And I definitely don't want screenshots. Screenshots aren't diagrams. I want you to think through how the thing is organized. So this is a hierarchy chart. I might use this later, so I'm going to go ahead and save that. Oh, I don't want to sign into the freaking...
You do want to use Visio, or do you not want to use Visio? Instead,
Oh, I don't mind if you use Visio. I mean, you know, if you're handy with it, if you feel comfortable with Visio, by all means. And you want to make a nice package. Like when you do your presentation, you're going to present all your documentation along with it. It should be a nice package, like you're going to go present to a customer, right? Impress people with it. But it's okay for it to be a rough diagram, right? As long as it's conceptually sensible. So if you say, actually, if you go to like Gliffy or one of these things, it gives you a hand. It looks like it's hand drawn, but it's actually done by a computer, so it looks like it has that mock-up feel. And I mean, Brian showed me one that was a full boat mock-up that looked like a working application. I mean, a beautiful mock-up tool. And that actually will really impress the socks off the customers. But they'll think that they'll expect code usually right after that, but it isn't written yet. There's nothing there. So you have to be careful that you can actually deliver at a time frame. They'll think, "Whoa, wow, it's already done." No, this is just a picture. Really, a picture of a working application? No. Anyway, so just be careful what you draw. If you draw it too good, people think it's almost done. So just protect you, the innocent programmer. You're right. Innocent of what? Innocent of what? Right. So now let's go over to Gliffy, and let's or maybe we can we'll do Gliffy, and let's go see. Go to gliffy.com, gliffy.com. I think you can do a. Here's some mock-ups of phone ones. Start free trial. I don't want to do this. Free email address. How about draw.io? There we go. Save diagrams to Google Drive. Nuts. Nuts. If it gives me two-factor authentication. Yeah. Two-factor. Luckily, my phone actually gets calls in here. Isn't that amazing? I know. That's the one thing I like about the Android, about this particular one. Okay, so now, you've seen a hierarchy chart. The other charts that you're going to need to look at are wireframe diagrams and database entity relationship diagrams. Those are the only three kinds of charts we're going to worry about in this course. But I want them to be correct. I don't want them to be some sloppy crap that doesn't match what the actual code is. So a wireframe diagram is just basically a visual picture of the real estate that you're taking up in the browser. So the wireframe diagram of this would be the Chrome around the edge. They call it the Chrome, the edge of the browser. You know, all the address bar and the tabs and everything. And then the main window, and inside that main window is a bunch of blank space and just this one block that has this panel there. That's what the wireframe for this screen would be. So if somebody was doing a mock-up of this draw.io website, the home page, or not the home page, but the page after you log in would be this. So I'm going to choose mock-ups. Oh, I don't want those. I'll choose wireframes. I guess that's what we're trying to do. So let's create a wireframe that looks like this. We wouldn't necessarily have to use a template, but let's use this. So now this is kind of a template wireframe of a website, right? Looks like a website, right? But we don't have this busy of a site. We have just Where's ours? This, right? So this right here is our wireframe. So we want to draw something that looks like this. The upper right-hand corner, or the upper left-hand corner says PHP CRUD Grid and has a create button. So here we would have, delete this. Can I delete that? All right. Oh, there it is. It went. I would have PHP CRUD Grid, and I would have the create button. Now I'm going to use Visio just because to me it's easier. I'm just going to add another page in here, and I'm going to put the PHP CRUD Grid as the text at the top, and I'll make this 30 point. And I'll change it so that the there's no fill, and I'll have the there's no line, and I'll have these letters be black, and I'll have these be right aligned or left aligned. So this is what it looks like on the page, right? PHP CRUD Grid. Then I have a create button. I can make a button to have a rounded triangle, or sorry, rounded rectangle. That looks a little bit better. So this is going to be create. Call this 24. Anyway, you get the idea. If I want, I can fill this. This is getting a little bit too too crazy, but here I'm creating it so it's got a green button on there. I mean, black and white's good enough, right? We don't need it to be all perfectly, because then we're starting to get a screenshot. But the point of it is you're designing what you want it to look like. And if you look at the Star Tutorial website, which I just love this. I love this tutorial even though it's not object-oriented. This is a message that needs to be said. It says, first solve the problem, then write the code. Smart words. So then you'd lay it out the same way as this diagram is laid out with the sample rows, and I think you get the idea of what the wireframe looks like. Anybody have a question about that? So if we have, so how many elements, how many different screen views do we have of this data in this application? How many things does the user see? How many patterns does the user see? We got the 5 of them, right? The 5 of them are the tutorial, the create, the read, update, and delete. So those are, it's basically the menu, the read, update, delete. They don't ever see the database one. So there should be a wireframe for each of these, not this one. But there should be a wireframe for each one of those. When you write your application, there's going to be 3 tables. There might not be all these views of all those tables. There should only be ones. The wireframes are for the user would see. And so you could kind of storyboard a use case with your user, saying, here's what you're going to see in the first screen, here's what you're going to see in the second screen, and get the user. You can talk to the user about what's going on. Any questions about this? How many of you have had the database class already? Only a couple? Oh, you're in it now? How many of you are in it now? Wow, lots. All right, well, we won't be getting into the fancy stuff that they get into, but it'll be practical, what we do here. So we've done hierarchy, we've done wireframe. Now we want to do the entity relationship diagrams. And those are the diagrams we're going to use. And that's going to be assignment number 1 for this project that you guys are all working on, which I'll give you the 16th, what the details are. So, so now let's take a look at entity relationship diagrams. Let's do File, New. We have database in here. Did you guys in 216 study class diagrams, UML diagrams, UML class diagrams? Yeah, okay, good. You're supposed to really have that already before you come here, but we might have to go over it again because we want to write object-oriented software, We might, but I wasn't planning on doing diagrams for all that. But for the databases, I was, because you need to do that. Well, let's go take a look at Vertebello. Vertebello. Vertebello.com. I think I'm spelling that right. Fabulous. Maybe it's only one. Oh, it's only one L. Okay, fine. There's a lot of these database diagramming tools, but let's just take a look at one. And let's take a look at, we'll design customer. Remember, customer had ID, name, mobile, and email, right? Oh, this is Firefox. I'm using Fire. Oh, it's got to use Chrome. Well, you know what we'll do? We'll just take a look at this. I'm going to go into this in more detail, but this right here is what a database entity would look like. It's a single table, and the name of the table goes on top, and the name of the table is supposed to be plural. I know this one says product, but a lot of people use a standard of having the table name be plural and the field names be singular. You know, unless they are, that needs to be plural, but normally a table element should be singular. So this would be products, then you have ID, product name, product description, and so forth. So this is, and then you might have, like, you have these keys, which you'll learn about in future things, but you link these tables together. They might have a relationship, which we haven't gone through yet, but basically that's what it looks like. I'll give you a little video on how to do this, but if we were going to do the customers database on the STAR tutorial, and let's go there and take a look at it. Tutorial. Here's the STAR tutorial. Here's PHP CRUD tutorial part 1. Here is the database. Right there. All I have to do is make a box with the elements in it. You see how it looks like? The box with the elements and what the data types of those elements are. That's it. So let's do it in Visio. I'm going to show you how you can do this in Visio. I'll make another screen here. And I'm going to make the customers one. Well, what I'll do is I'll take a rectangle, and I'm going to make this, I'll have this be 30 again. And I'm going to put the fill, no line, and we'll have black. And this thing's, oh, actually I will have a line. Take that back. Solid line. And I'm going to have this be called customers. Why is it not working?
Yeah, but, yeah.
So I have a line around this one, and this line looks like this line up top here. If you want, you can shade it. If you want, you can put a fill in here and make it solid fill and make it, you know, light gray or something like that. But I don't necessarily recommend it. And we'll copy this, paste this, and we're going to put all these as I'm going to have this have no fill. And I'm going to change this to be top line. So what's the first element that I have? The first element in that file? ID, right? And what kind of a element is it? It's an integer. I think they do put PK like that in there. We can worry about how we might want to format this, but let's just put, boy, it does not like lowercase. ID, integer, and primary key. And here, and you can see that here, right? So that we know that the name of the table is customers, again with an S, and ID is int and primary key. We don't put all this other stuff in there. It's basically for the programmers to know how the database tables work together. It's not designed to include every possible thing. But we have name, and it's a varchar, right? So name, it's a varchar. What else do we got?
Email.
Email.
Which are both varchar.
Varchar, and it's got mobile, and it's a varchar. If this thing forces your stuff to be uppercase, I mean, it annoys the heck out of me, but
The autocorrect super backspace, it'll go back to the original.
well, okay. Yeah, I like my old 2003 version of Visio because I can really move in that one, and I'm so slow in the new version. Anyway, so that's an entity. Now, if I had another one of these entities, right? It might like you're going to make an events database, and we're going to make also a customer event data table as part of our whole like class system. So we're going to build a whole application in class. All of us will build the same application. Then each one of you will build an individual application that has its own, uniquenesses and so forth. But you can use the stuff that we do in class to build your application. If you already know what you want to do, you can fire off and be done and have the whole class over, and you just sit back and sip Mai Tais and final exam day, right? Because you're done. But probably not. Anyway, so you might have links between these two. There might be some kind of let's see if we have connectors. I want to see the connectors that are available. Wonderful. I can't.
Click it, it's just like, now it's a tool.
Well, if I go like this, whoops, and I try to connect, I should be able to connect these two things together. You'd think. Now, if I go inside of this, we should be able to format the. Oh, not that. Got to go to the pointer tool now. Because right now it's giving me an arrow, right? But I think I can change the endpoints of these things. The end arrow type. Yeah, I can change these to be ER diagram things. All your computers got Visio on them, right? Yeah. We only got 3 tables. So even though this seems like a pain in the yin-yang to edit all this stuff, you'll be doing it, and it hopefully, you'll only do it one time. So may as well make it right. Otherwise, I strongly encourage you, break out an envelope or a napkin or a piece of paper from the printer, or hand draw it and snap a picture with your mobile phone. That's perfectly acceptable. So you basically have an idea of what's going to go on with the entity relationship diagrams? Anything confusing about that? All right. So we don't really have time to go through the anatomy of this code. We'll go through it. I'll probably make a YouTube video on it because I want to get kicking. On Wednesday, Brian's going to show us something, right? Yeah. And I'll probably go through the anatomy of it on Wednesday of next week because I'm not going to see you for a week. So send over your questions through Canvas. But now you've seen what a full application looks like. You've kind of seen what the diagrams look like. We're off and running. We've made a lot of headway in 1 week. We'll see you guys. Enjoy your day off. We'll see you guys next week.